So I've started having hot lemon water in the morning. देखते हैं क्या होता है. Let's see how it is. Okay, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when I say McDonald's? You have like the next 5 seconds. Time's up. Even I think of how hot the Pizza McPuff is, or like the birthday parties that used to happen, because you probably hosted one yourself. But there's a good likelihood that you thought of the arches, right? Like the McDonald's की जो yellow arches है, the golden arches. Actually yellow नहीं है, yellow is not politically correct, it's golden. So you probably thought of those arches. But what if I told you that if you go to McDonald's page right now, Facebook or Instagram, international, not India, if you go to that page right now at the time of recording, which is the 25th of September, and tell me what their logo is looking like, you can go right now and check it out. But don't do that. Like, you can check it out later as well. But it's not the same. They've gotten rid of the golden arches, and now there's this one big random ass yellow O, or golden O, which is in the middle of that. And that's really the topic, and that's really what we're going to discuss today, because today we are going to be discussing a viral TikTok video series by this woman called Emily Zuge, who used to work at Disney, by the way. So she did this, and brands went gaga, right from a Tinder to Adobe to, the likes, everything which you can think of, all the, slightly hip or Gen Z brands, everything under the sun. They just went quite crazy. It's really interesting what's happened because of that. Through TikTok, McDonald's changed their logo. Can you imagine the golden arches? They just got rid of it. I mean, of course, it's still there on stores and everything, but at least for the time being on social media, they have that logo going on. So it's pretty interesting. So आज के हम episode में जो बात करेंगे वो दो चीज़ें होंगी primarily. That will be Gen Z's sense of humor and Gen Z's sense of design, or the graphic design that has been influenced. You can check out the cover art, which you probably clicked on. Very, very random and absurd. Definitely not at all pretty to look at. So those are some of the things that we're going to be discussing. But before that, something very interesting happened last week. If you're following me on my social media, you probably know. But if you don't, everyone, we are now listed on Buy Me a Coffee. What is Buy Me a Coffee? Buy Me a Coffee is a creator funding platform. So if you listen to this for the first time, or have been hearing for the past 3 years, since 2018, consider supporting the show, becoming a member. You can help me make more episodes for you, or if this has impacted you in any fun way, or if you just chill around with any of the episodes, you can support the show now directly. There's no third party involved. Of course, there's the internet, but that's about it. And if you become a member, and the price is quite affordable, I think you have 5 amazing benefits which are there for you, which I've kind of curated for you. You can check that out in the description link. That's the first link there. You can support me, buy me a coffee, or it's actually buy me a beer. You can also do a one-time support if you think the membership is too much commitment, and if you're a Gen Z, you're probably a commitment for two. You can use any UPI app, and it's really easy to do, and you can support the show. All right, that's enough of promotion of that link. But thank you so much for the support till now. It really means a lot. Okay, back to the show. So first, let's do a bit of a deep dive into humor. Gen Z humor. What is this? It's a pretty absurd, random thing which people don't really make sense of. And of course, you can say that अरे Gen Z ने तो ही ना start किया था यार, ये तो millennials के टाइम से चलता आ रहा है. True, millennials ने भी किया था, but कुछ फ़र्कें हैं. तो एली सैंडर्स है विटमिन वायर की, उन्होंने बोला है कि Gen Z humor is the new Dadaist movement. Dadaist movement क्या है वो आप अपने एस्थेटिक्स क्लासेस में देख सकते हो, अपने कल्चर क्लासेस में देख सकते हो. इट वाज अ कल्चरल मूवमेंट अबाउट 100 years ago, वेयर डिज़ाइनर्स ने बोला फक्ट सोसाइटी, मतलब कि क्या ही है सोसाइटी, हम तो रैंडम है. वो देखो ना, वो मूर्त स्थल जो है जिसका वो क्या नाम है भाई, वो डूशॉम्स उसका ही वही सब. सो आई मीन लुक, humor is seen as a coping mechanism. This is a very age-old fact. We've seen COVID. We have seen the great 2008 फाइनेंशियल क्राइसिस में ग्रेट के बाद रुक गया क्योंकि डिप्रेशन था, रिसेशन पता नहीं. We've seen Trump getting elected and dethroned. We've seen Modi getting elected and elected again. And our jokes are kind of, we've kind of made peace with it. That's the key difference that I will come up with millennial humor and with Gen Z humor. Let me, just make it crystal clear, or attempt to make it crystal clear for you. So the millennial says, "This sucks, I want to die." While the Gen Z says, "This sucks, but that's okay, we're gonna die anyway." I like Doritos, by the way. So, when you've been living in the dark so long, you kind of start enjoying it. So that's the point of Gen Z humor. It's a very basic crash course on Gen Z humor. But loads of articles have also been listed in the description box. Okay, that was the bit about comedy. Now what about the design? So there's this article again by the Fast Company. Again, I've been reading a lot of articles probably. Ugliness has become a viable option for design, right? You see, when you design stuff, it doesn't mean that it has to be pretty. When you design stuff, it just has to work. Like whatever the job of the design is to communicate or whatever, उसको वो काम करना चाहिए. वो ज़रूरी नहीं कि वो सुंदर दिखे, and it's kind of funny because when you think of design, you always think of, oh, it should be good looking, or if it's beautiful, or if it's perfect. Well, that's not really the case anymore, and we've seen it in the Dadaism movement as well. Dadaism, which happened 100 years back, it was definitely not pretty, not all the stuff. And designers used to stand for beauty and order, of course, in the past few decades. But now, beauty is seen as passé and ugliness is seen as smart. So back to the topic of the video, of the podcast, which is, the series of TikToks which are there. It's kind of, ugliness has almost become like a trend, like the design trend which you see. And this is reflective in lots of intersections between design and comedy. Do you know about this page called Desi Affirmations, or Affirmations in general? I think it perfectly encapsulates the feelings of Gen Z, and it captures, the design aesthetic that we're speaking about. Definitely, it's ugly, but it works so well. Like the humor is just on point all the time, and it's just such a pleasure to look at. So again, it's not beautiful, but it's design, it does the job. And that's why I think, it's really caught on. Like, people slowly but steadily, loads of brands have started embracing it. And that's why probably McDonald's, to be with the hip Gen Z crowd, they changed their logo. And that's why many people who were asking this person who used to work at Disney, she used to work as a character actor and, one of those people in the Disney theme park, jo, chill will karte hain wahan par. She did this thing on TikTok, and her delivery was also super, pretty deadpan and pretty, not giving a fuck sort of a vibe. And brands just lapped it up. Where else? Which other generation have you seen one person have so much influence through some random vertical videos, man? That's never happened before. So that's why I think it's a pretty interesting topic to talk about. And it's the perfect intersection, yeah? It's the perfect intersection of design and humor. That was, the TikToks, what they kind of exemplified, and obviously brands want to notice. However, and this is a big word of caution, and this is also my conclusion. So the conclusion here is that if all the brands start doing this, or if everybody wants to be absurd or random, I've kind of touched upon this in one of the previous episodes itself, there's not much of charm left in this entire movement, right? Like सबको अगर ये bandwagon पे चढ़ना, because it's easy, right? अब social media है तो मतलब imitation game में कुछ time तो लगता नहीं है. तो if the imitation has started already, it might just be a thing that, this ugliness also becomes an aesthetic. Ki when we're in 2030 or 2035, we're like, oh yeah, man, 2021, we were in the first few years of the pandemic, and wahan par aisa aesthetic chal raha tha. Oh, good times. So it's possible that, it might not have a very long-lasting effect. It might just be another brick in the wall, another design movement that died a quick end, or was just like a fad. But it's still interesting what it's managed to do. If you, a random person staying in the United States, can make probably the world's second largest fast food chain, first is Subway, in terms of like sheer number of franchisees at least. If you can make them change your logo, you clearly have a lot of influence, and you clearly are Gen Z. So thank you so much for listening to this episode of That's What She Said. We learned a lot of good things about design, about humor, and about the intersection of these two, where it's a good point to be at. It's a good intersection of that Venn diagram. Thank you so much, and please support the show, yaar, if you can. It'll really mean a lot. Again, really, really grateful to all of the people who've supported so far, and you all will be getting your personalized laptop stickers very soon. So thank you, and take care, and have lemon mortar in the morning. Bye bye.